Okay, so can you briefly introduce yourself and your role at Stanford, including, your hobbies and your passions, and what do you like to do in your free time?
Absolutely. My name is Orlando White. I use he, him, his pronouns, and I'm one of our associate deans in residential education with a focus on student staff engagement. In terms of my hobbies, I enjoy spicy food. I enjoy traveling in a more normal time, so to speak. And I'm also a big animal lover. I have a 80-pound dog named Jaja and a 16-pound, 16-year-old cat named Garfield. So those are just a little bit about me and my hobbies.
Where are you usually on campus, work or otherwise, and where will sophomores see you next year?
Definitely. So my office is on the first floor of EBGRA. That's where our undergraduate students live in EBGR. And you can usually find me there or at Koopa Cafe by Green Library. So, or somewhere in between those two places.
And can you give us a sense of what's coming for your sophomores and what sort of events are going to be planned for their arrival?
Definitely. In the spring of this past year, we convened the Sophomore Working Group, which is a dedicated group of professionals from across BPUE and BPSA to really ensure that the class of 2024 is taken care of. We know that they are entering and continuing college in a very unprecedented time with the pandemic shutting everything down, having a full year of Zoom University under their belt, and they're coming in and really wanting the best of what Stanford can offer in terms of a vibrant campus life. And so we've really prioritized their needs both intellectually and socially in terms of how do we get them enculturated into Stanford in a way that builds that pride and affinity and maximizes their opportunities to build healthy relationships with one another and be successful academically. So we've got a series of events that will kick off in the fall to help welcome the class of 2024, recognizing that the challenges that they have certainly endured. We've been in contact with the new sophomore cabinet about a signature sophomore welcome event planned in September that we're really excited about, and those details are being finalized. There's lots of good ideas on the table. We really want to make sure that the student voice and what sophomores want is represented in that signature event. We've also been in touch with parent focus groups of the class of 2024, which include some alums as well as some non-alums, to really speak into how the level of family support is influencing what sophomores want out of their first year as well. So we're taking all that feedback in and providing that and curating a sophomore signature event for September that I think will be really well received. In addition, we've got some of our traditional campus activities that we've used to welcome students to campus and broadening them, including our sophomore scavenger hunt, which will be across the entire Bay Area, covering all of campus, including some campus resources, but also historic landmarks in San Francisco, Oakland, and San Jose. So making sure that we're really introducing students, not just to Stanford, but to the entire Bay Area.
And one question we've gotten a lot from rising sophomores is, are they going to be treated like upperclassmen, sort of, just diving headfirst into the Stanford experience, or are they going to be treated more like frosh? Like what sort of scaffolding is going to be available to students as they enter in this really strange year where, rising sophomores are in some capacity familiar with Stanford, but really also kind of new to everything as well.
Definitely. And I think that's an excellent point. We have to acknowledge all of those realities. There are multiple truths at play with the fact that students are coming in into their sophomore year, after a global pandemic where most everything is virtual, into what we hope is a new normal, and what we hope is something that is more inclusive and more welcoming of everyone's ability to engage with campus in a way that helps them be successful. So I think the scaffolding really comes from naming that. Like, we know you are very unique in this regard when it comes to the class of 2024, like none before. That's something that we heard from our parent focus group, is we really want to make sure that they recognize that they have some unique needs that are being met both in the classroom and out of the classroom. So even with the launch of our ResX neighborhood model, we have sophomore housing in all of 8 neighborhoods here at Stanford. And so we will have entire cohorts who have that shared experience to help kind of make sense of it as we move forward together in terms of how do we make sense of Stanford and get the best of what Stanford has to offer, considering all the challenges that they've endured. And so I think the scaffolding approach is recognizing that they've got some skill sets under their belt that they were able to obtain virtually, but there's no replacing the in-person experience.
you mentioned the ResX system. Can you briefly go into detail about what that is and what the campus dynamic will look like next year? Like, will social interactions be limited to one's neighborhood, and what are cross neighborhood interactions going to look like? Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're really excited for ResX because it's all about alignment. With ResX, we want to ensure that everyone in every neighborhood has an experience that they can take pride in terms of their home community, whether they've lived there their first year, their second year, really all 4 years at Stanford. So there's an idea of having that sense of pride connected to both your individual house, your neighborhood, and then at Stanford as a whole. And social activities will be a mix of neighborhood-wide activities as well as intra-neighborhood programs, because we still have great partnerships throughout all of the rest of campus with the Office of Student Engagement, with intramurals. There's still opportunities to connect outside of the neighborhood as a part of the greater Stanford campus life experience, and one that is still very vibrant and one that is still accessible to everyone.